call the city council meeting to order on this May 20th. And we're joined by council member Martinez, council member Shiltz, council member Mayor ProTem McFerren, council member Dominguez, and council member Parizek. So the first order of business is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next up is approval of the consent agenda, and there was a email exchange and clarification on the minutes. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Is there a second? Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. I think I forgot to say that earlier, so. Item number 4 then, beer and liquor license, 12-month, Class E retail, alcohol license for Casey's. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
I just want to let everybody know that certain establishments have the ability to enroll in automatic renewal if they haven't had any violations with the state. So they will still come before you, but they go through the automatic process with the state. So they may look a little bit different as they come through. This is the first year that you'll see this one like this, but they will continue that way unless there's any violations.
Is there, oh, excuse me.
Oh, so I take it there hasn't been any issues here with,
No.
okay.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and it is approved. Item number 5, library board appointment. Sarah Sedlacek to replace Maria Lugo's place until December 30th of 2025, with the option of renewal until 2030. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
We just thank Ms. Sedlacek for filling in that.
Yes, absolutely. All right, if no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and Sarah is appointed. Item number 6A will be city employee reports, and first is city engineer Leo Foley.
Okay, don't think I need to update you any more on the rate study. Good to go there. What I would say is that early next week, we'll have the final to you with all of the recommendations we gave you. The draft had different recommendations, so after we polish those up, we'll send that right back to you as a final. Well, number 2, I did talk to Adam, and I also talked to Northway today. From what I understand, the iron rates are coming down fairly well, but they've been busy and haven't had a lot of chance to flush. And they just, from what Northway told me, they need to flush a lot more. So I think they might be able to just run it and flush it during the day without paying that much attention to it, but I don't know the details. So flushing will definitely, looks like it's working.
Are we almost done, Lena?
Oh, Lord, you don't know how I'd like to be down.
Yes, thank
You
Adam.
don't know. All right, let's go to Evans Avenue. Pre-con is scheduled for this Friday. And they're gonna start a week from today, which is a day after Memorial Day, from what I understand. So everything looks like it's falling into place for the Evans Avenue project. That's all I had tonight, unless somebody has questions.
Quick question on Evans. Did you get my email just to update it to the 111 West 7th Street building for me?
I got your email, I haven't looked at it, so I will look at that. So
Okay.
update it to what? Oh, yeah, the location of where the meeting will be.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say, yeah. Let's make
What
it
was the address again?
Let's make it 111 West 7th Street, and it's in an email to you.
I got it.
No,
I have
okay.
it. No, I was looking for that. I will get that done in the morning.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Are there further questions or comments for the city engineer? Listen. Okay. All right.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Next up is the city manager's report. I was quoting that report on Saturday while we were having the buildings and grounds committee. So that's part of the packet. Are there questions or further clarification to the city manager?
It's unfortunate that we had that pool issue.
Well, the heater,
Yeah, the heater.
Yeah.
didn't we just replace
I
it?
thought we did.
Not that one.
No.
What did we do last year? That was,
It was fixed.
yeah,
Oh,
Part
it
of
was
it
just
was fixed.
big.
part of it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
Dang.
Okay. Are there further questions or comments for the city manager?
Will we like put on social media, like the update of the opening of the pool and stuff like that? Or maybe you already have for any other?
We were, Brittany and I did talk about that today. We have, in the report, we have
Yeah.
staff coming on. Our inspection is not going to happen until June 2nd.
Second, third, yeah.
And, we just didn't want to get too ahead of ourselves, not knowing one about the heater pump and how long it's gonna take.
So until
and
you
our
know, you
inspection.
know.
Yeah, so, we very much would like to put out there that, what was in my report
Yeah.
potentially. But again, we didn't wanna, and we also had talked about doing early bird sales, you know, like we've done in the past.
Right.
But we kind of identified, maybe we'll just, again, hold off, and as soon as we get the green light, then we feel more comfortable about going versus having to write a bunch of refunds. So
Yeah.
maybe we, yeah. not to
It looks
jinx
like you
ourselves.
had a good turnout in recruiting lifeguards though, so.
What's that?
Wasn't there like 10 lifeguards? Or is that not enough?
I think we have 12, but it's still not enough.
Oh,
So it
wow.
will impact
Okay.
the hours of the pool.
Dang it.
Cause you have to have 3 on duty all at all times, is that correct?
Mm.
And I think they have to have so much, like they have to have an hour out in rotation outside of their chairs, so, yeah.
Okay, further questions or comments for the city manager and her report? Next up is the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting that was held on, was to be held on May 17th. So we'll turn to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, it was pretty nice, pretty good meeting, pretty productive. We kind of finalized the idea of having the open house on June 8th. So I think that was discussed at the last meeting. And we really want to have that, so that the public can come through and take a look and see what we've done, what our plans are. I'm working with Lee to help with the, I guess, the messages and, you know, kind of the displays so that people know what we're doing. We looked at kind of the preliminary groups that are going to come in and be housed. I think it was voluntary action is definite, and the mobile clinic from the University of Iowa. And perhaps we would be able to utilize some of that space for mental health office. And what's the other one? There was another one, wasn't there?
Well, pickleball was temporarily.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They
Well,
have
the gym, yeah, the gym for sure. And then trying to figure out, what we're gonna do with council chambers so that, we can maybe move over there soon. I think the rental on this is coming due or ending the contract.
In June.
June, okay. So, yeah, we just looked at what we needed to do and, took a tour of it, so it was pretty informative.
The roof is coming along. Up until just recently with the weather, but it is coming along, and as soon as our weather, as soon as we stop having rain and storms, then they can continue on with the roofing project, so. And
Trying to decide about some rooms with the HVAC or the, I don't know, what do you call that?
the split
The
units.
split units, yeah. The split units, and then cordoning off certain areas that, for normal use, where we can cordon it off, for public use versus city use.
Oh, lengthy discussion.
I have a question.
Member.
How are, like, folks, how are you selecting, like, use of it? Are folks like just coming to the city and like?
Yeah, so far that's who has been requesting
So
space
just,
constantly.
if people are interested, just email Lee or,
Yeah.
Preferably, yeah, the city clerk and then, or I think, so most that had come before us that we're working on now had come to mayor and council. With the exception of the University of Iowa Mobile Clinic had come to the mayor and myself. Because what they had been doing was not available, so then they reached out. But ideally, probably the clerk, just so then that way she can organize it within, agendas and, with the mayor and council.
I was hoping that, we could kind of get a list of all the entities that were interested and then kind of, figure out space based on that. But urgency of need.
Yeah, that's
has entered
important.
into this, that, what's the name of the organization that has this stuff at First Methodist that you just?
Oh, the
Voluntary.
voluntary action.
Voluntary action is pretty much cramped with where they're trying to store. And so that was more urgent. And then the health clinics had been very viable in the community. But the space at First Church United doesn't work as well as what we could offer them. And they're trying to get those up and going. The lack of available health care in the community makes that more important that we get that going. And then the pickleball people had some problem with where they were at.
The courts are being resurfaced.
Yeah, that's
but
it. So,
Then the rain happened, but they're very much appreciative and
Yeah.
they're well behaved. I haven't had to chase anybody down yet for doing something.
We'll know more about specifics on what's needed and what we can plan for in the future. Once we get on board with the new engineering firm,
Yeah.
because at this point, we're just trying to make general proposals of where things can go based on the access and the room size. But once we get on board fully with the engineering firm, then we'll know more about what's needed for sure. There's still little things, toilets, doors, maybe some more split units, maybe different access to some rooms that we still have to work on, but again, we don't know those yet until we get that engineering firm in there.
I also want us to look at as many multi-use of space. Like we talked about a council chamber there, but I think, we're in there 2 nights every month. And if there's some way that that can be used other times, I think that's to our advantage to promote the multi-use. And so like the free clinic or the health clinic coming in would be there some of the time, but that space could be used other times for other organizations.
And
Right.
anyone in addition that has asked, we are keeping record of that. So that way and communicating when that time comes, we can have, more conversation about space usage.
Yeah. Okay, anything further on building of the grounds?
I did have one more thing, but I was gonna bring it up in public comments. In regards to one of the neighboring property owners. Okay. If that's okay, unless you want me to,
No,
okay.
and if it's both, so, yeah.
Okay, all right. So also, We Lead had their annual meeting on May 9th and presented an annual report, and it's part of the packet. And also we have the We Lead director here. Would you like to make any comments?
Yeah, we had about 60 people, show up and, we had a lunch and then a presentation and, yeah, we were happy with the turnout and, for those maybe watching at home, you know, we lead as the West Liberty Economic Area Development Corporation, and, we, I guess, are here to enable growth, promote business development and expansion, and then fostering a healthy business climate. And our mission is to make West Liberty a better place to live, work, learn, grow, and play. And West Liberty definitely has seen growth over the last year. You know, three new standalone homes, 4 new zero lot line homes, 24 new condos, and then 6 new apartments downtown through IEDA grants. And I'm, I guess, happy to announce too, like this last week alone, I submitted over $37,000 in grants. One of them's for the Latino Festival. And we're really hoping to get that one, and there's a couple more. So we've been busy. I'm working with 2 downtown business owners, building owners on the TIF grants too. So I think at this rate, like in 3 years, we can have like downtown looking like tip top shape. So that's really cool. I know.
Yeah.
And Lee, I should thank you for meeting and taking time to do that. I know coming in, like, you know, I've had a lot of questions, and I appreciate all the time you've taken, and it's really made all the difference. And you know, I know you've also been really helpful with you know, possible annexation on the north side of town. We've been talking about this, I think, for a year and a half. Yeah, and we're getting very close. I think, you know, been meeting with Lee, and I've been meeting with a business owner out there, and all of the conversations have been very productive. You know, it's just treating people the way you want to be treated, right? You know, if we want to get more people to come in and be annexed into the city, you know, it shouldn't affect their livelihood or cost them money. And believe it or not, our tax rate is cheaper than the county's for this business owner. So
Say that louder.
I know. Well, I've learned a lot, you know, in the last month of being here. Like, West Liberty is a really good place to live and to do business. Like our tax rate's very competitive. Our utility rates are very competitive. The incentives that we offer to developers and business people. So I've only been here for a month, but you know, I've met with 3 different developers and talking with realtors. There is so much potential. So good things are happening. And I know behind the scenes, there's a lot of meetings, like once a week, I meet with Lee, and anybody is welcome to come and meet with me or meet with us too. But I think there's a lot of really good things happening. It's just letting more people know that, you know, this is what West Liberty has to offer. So yeah, we're extremely competitive. We're very diverse. You know, our school district is one of the top in the state. And again, if we 3 years can revitalize that downtown area and make that look better. I actually met tonight with a group of business people. We're gonna add an arts fest. I don't know what we're gonna call it, in August, the middle of August, to attract more people to town too. So Josh will be visiting you later this week about that. But getting artists to come to each business just to attract more people. But yeah, exciting things are happening, and appreciate again all the time you've taken, and yeah, look forward to keep plugging away.
Bill, what is your new email address?
WeLeadExec@gmail.com.
Oh,
Is probably the best. We have 3 emails at
They were still
WeLead,
trying
and
to-
so I still answer to all 3.
Okay, because I still owe you an email, but I didn't know your
Okay.
email address.
Yeah, no, WeLeadExec@gmail.com, so feel free to stop down too. I usually have coffee on in the morning, so. Business people stop in, and West Liberty has been very, very welcoming. You know, I'm an outsider, right? I didn't grow up here and live here, but so many people have come in and, you know, sat down, had a cup of coffee and chatted, and it's been awesome. But yeah, good things are happening. Good, so.
All right,
That's it. Thank you.
thanks. Are there questions for Phil besides what has been asked? So, okay. All right. No, thanks. Okay, item number 7, vendor voucher claims in the amount of $796,378.23. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and it is approved. Next up is item number 8, public comments and or correspondence, and it is the time for the public to speak on topics that are not listed on the agenda. And you should state your name, limit comments to 2 minutes, and state your address. Are there any public comments? I have one in behalf of Jacob Lane, the chamber director. I met with him earlier today, and his daughter is running a fever. And so I said, why don't you do the dad care, and I'll pass on to the council what he had to say. And what he had to say is that the farmers market is up and going, and will be held again tomorrow evening. There have been a couple of issues with parking that I think that they've gotten resolved, and they're great events. So if you haven't been, I encourage you to attend the farmers market, and also encourage you to promote that as much as possible. Are there any other public comments? Are there any other public comments? Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to council members and comments. So we'll start with Council Member Martinez.
I did have, Ethan Anderson reach out to me about this, lot parcel.
Yes.
And with us acquiring the new building. Wants to see what we can do to move forward with that. You don't have a chance to. I'm meeting with him so we can, he said, he's not looking to be handed over, but to make some type of agreement or purchase just to be equal with the lots. I guess it's supposed to be like a history street or something like that. So I don't know if he's reached out to you, Lee, as well. I don't know the process going forward.
Yeah. He has reached out to Lee. He's reached out to the Mayor ProTem. I don't know if he's reached out to anyone else about this, but.
That's all.
Okay, Councilmember Shiltz.
I had a couple business owners downtown. They had some concern with, I'm noticing quite a few more quad runners roaming around downtown, which is another time. They just had more concerns around the fact that they're seeing more younger kids on them and kind of not quite obeying the traffic laws with the stop signs, and they just had some concerns seeing that, and wanted to make sure that the city and the police department are aware of that.
Okay.
And I had some more interest kind of raised for the water meters that we started last summer, and I wasn't sure if that was up and going yet, or if that was something that starting here soon.
Yes, yeah, that is available. They can come in and fill out the information for it. Front staff, we will help them with that.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks. Mayor ProTem.
Yeah, two things. First of all, I also wanted to talk about, Ethan Anderson had reached out to me as well about wanting to purchase 2 lots, behind him that would take up basically where the playground is at the old ELC. I just heard him out. I told him right at this point, we don't really have an idea yet until we meet with the engineers to figure out how we're gonna utilize that area, that parking area. A lot will depend on how we're going to rebuild, if we're going to rebuild the pool area, if we're going to put in a new pool house, because we may need to utilize that space. It was gifted, I believe, to the schools many years ago. I'm talking many years ago, even before the previous owner of the house. It was gifted to the schools because it was all one aligned lots for all those houses. But right where the school is, it got shortened because the homeowners somehow made an arrangement and they gifted it to the school districts. So that's how it ended up that it was acquired, and those were just slightly shorter lots. And he wants to regain the original lot size. But again, I really don't know. We need to go over that with the engineers. Plus, I believe there's a lot of issue with right of way, utilities underneath there, and also, I think remains of the old elementary school. And so at this point, it's undetermined. But you know, we're still talking about it in buildings and grounds.
On our discussion on Saturday, I know, we had a direction, I had a direction to draft a letter, to make sure, and I can provide that, after I go through the draft, but, to communicate to Mr. Anderson that, we have, it on record, the interest in the parcels. But just as Mayor Pro Tem is saying, until we get to the point, that could take quite a while for us to identify future use. In addition to that, those properties run, adjacent to our water tower. And so we do know we have some major utility easements that run, also through the same areas. So there would have to be that work of identifying those pieces. So just to shorten up a letter, just to make sure he understands that we will maintain a record of his interest. And that, that mayor and council and staff are aware of the interest. But at this time, we don't have.
Right, we don't have an answer that we can move on right now. And I believe a lot of that where, Bob and Carol Klein used to live, the house is right next to him that's for sale. That a lot as well is shortened because I think it had to do when they built the water tower. They used part of that land for easement to access that area, or it had something kind of unusual to that home.
You're correct. There's a a water main, and there's a water utility easement, a large. one
Yeah,
that
it's
goes through.
behind that house. So I'm just concerned that might be, something that we're just gonna have to maintain right now. Until we figure out what's what. So again, waiting until the engineering firm comes on board. The second thing I got was from a resident on Short Street at the Sunnyview Apartments. He is concerned because apparently there's a lot of mini bike races on Short Street. Or there's a lot of mini bikes. Kids are racing up and down the alleys and the streets over by there. That, they're really concerned as well about safety and traffic issues. So,
I know,
and I can give you the individual's name too, if you.
that would be good if you want to pass that to Chief and Sergeant.
Yeah.
I know
it's,
Chief had communicated with me last week. We had some conversation. Because we were circling around about the downtown parking. And in addition to that, Chief had stated that they had been having some comments about UTVs, ATVs with the
Yeah.
weather being nice. And so that's definitely on our officers' radar. They've been watching for that. And so, yeah.
It'd be difficult if an officer isn't around to specifically catch them before they head out, so
Yeah.
I don't know if there'd be a way for like your communication to, I don't know if there's a way to contact if they're seeing something currently, so that maybe an officer could
Mhm.
see them and then just chat with them about it.
yeah,
Kind of promote that
well, I know
safety issues.
I know that what is it, the facility or the units down there on Sunnyview do have cameras.
Mhm.
So but I don't know whether or not you can see anything, cause I don't have access to those cameras, so I don't know. But, there are cameras down there in that, housing development. Oh, it's the Sunnyview.
It's the ones.
It's the elderly housing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Standing on that.
they're not owned by Gary.
You're talking about more.
The short
side.
Yeah, they're more on, I think it's actually Walnut,
Yes.
Walnut and Short where they come together. Yeah.
Um, and Sergeant, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, the most effective way is to direct those individuals to the police department and have them file a complaint. It is also my knowledge, to my understanding, the, ATVs and UTVs do have to be licensed.
Okay.
They do have license plates on them, so if they're able to even, you know, if they have the ability to take a photo of it, or even to write down a license plate, or at least get a description, then they should, you know, contact, and there is a
Okay.
non-emergency number that I know we provide for them to call, but likewise, you know, they can take that complaint to the police department and file that with them, because that's, you know, the best way for them to be effective, and then once they've got, also that creates a record, because
yeah.
they have to, identify that with dispatch, and so,
Okay,
okay.
yeah. I can let you
Anything
know.
else,
who it is,
Sergeant?
or-
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll provide extra.
okay.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay, Councilmember Dominguez.
I had something and I forgot what it was. So if I remember, I'll bring it back.
Okay, all right, Councilmember Parizek.
No, nothing.
Okay, move on to, city manager.
I just did receive a phone call and a follow-up message with a resident here in West Liberty that, had some issues with some, two former landlords.
Yeah.
Was inquiring about rental inspections, so we went through that. Also the, tenant was, had some legality questions, so, I provided her, the contact information at the state for tenants' rights. So they could, reach out to them and get further information on what they could do for their rights. I did forward chamber of communication. I think that, Jacob had provided the events coming up with the picnic in the park and the fair parade. In addition to that, I was looking to see if Kelsey Myers is still with us. I wanted, she sent me some really good news on behalf of the Muscatine County Fair Event Center Project. West Liberty Fairgrounds was awarded the Iowa Economic Development Authority, known as the CAT grant. And I can forward on, but I know that the fair had also posted, that was for $422,000.
Wow.
So, yeah, so Kelsey, did you have anything else to add to that information?
No, we're really thankful and really excited to receive that. It was a pretty lengthy application process. We did have to show that we had like a certain percentage of our fundraising committed. So like to be able to even submit the application, we had to have 65% of the funds committed. And then to be able to like once we were awarded the grant, now we have to have 90% of the funds committed, which we do, which is great. But within that, and which you guys have a little bit later here on your agenda, one of the things that we had to show within this grant is that we have community support, county support, city support, and then like individuals, constituents as well. And so we were able to show support through all of that. So like, again, as we'll get into a little bit later, we have submitted an application for a $25,000 economic development grant from the city here. That is a matching grant, which we already have the matching funds for. But again, like when we applied for this grant, we had to show that we had city support for that. So,
Thank you, Kelsey.
yeah. Do you have any questions for me, I guess?
I have questions about the other part when we get to the application. Okay. That is outside of what was already in my report. That's all I have to cover.
Okay, thanks. City clerk.
I do not want to do this one.
Okay, all right. We'll move on to item 9A, discussion and appropriate action by the city council on the economic development matching grant for the Muscatine County Fair. How apropos that we just were talking about that. So the process here is discussion, motion, and consent agenda or consent vote. So is there discussion?
I have a question for
Sure.
Chelsea.
Yes.
I noticed in your application that where you were, marking like what your income would be, like it said that weddings or quinceañeras would be 5,000 to rent the facility. And I was wondering if that is comparable to, what is being paid now or in the area, just because to me that seems quite high. Or how that amount was thought of.
Yeah, so we have a committee that's like a finance committee that went through and looked at other area event center venues. Plus, we have to look at our costs, like what's it going to cost us to staff it, clean it, um, insurance, lights, utilities, all of those things. So we went through and looked at all of that, plus other outside venues, within like Southeast Iowa and ones that are in our area, which the closest ones in our area are 50 miles away or more. Um, we also had the head financial analyst at John Deere go through our numbers as well, to come up with, help us kind of look at those numbers. And so that's kind of the range that we're looking at right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little worried because I'm not sure. I mean, we have so many quinceañeras. I think it would be wonderful to have an opportunity for a lot of our folks to be able to experience that place. It's just. What do you charge now for that community center? Do you know?
So right now the activity center is $400 a day, and it's very dated. The things that are, I mean, you guys have all been in it. I mean, it's
Yes.
it's past its prime, and so this building alone is a $2.5 million project, and so by the time you have a loan on top of that, your insurance, your staffing, because there's going to be more than myself. This will create jobs for the community. We have to pay all those things, and it does come with a cost.
It is my understanding that that's comparable, to community center costs. Those numbers were told with you as well.
Yeah, I know. I just know that a lot of families opt to go with the activity, and it's not as nice as the community center here because it's more affordable, and I would hate for like a young lady to not have a quinceañera because they can no longer afford an option such as the activity center. But I mean, I understand fully. It's going to be a beautiful space, and hopefully it will bring in more business from other folks as well. It's just a thought I had when I was reading through it. Yeah.
Is there further discussion? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We'll move to item 9B, the discussion and appropriate action by the city council on the economic development matching grant for Steve Alt. So again, discussion and, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to, Kelsey, thank you. So she
Oh,
didn't have
yeah,
to.
right. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank
Okay, so-
you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Sure. So is there discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to go ahead and, accept the, West Liberty IWE, the Economic Development Matching Grant.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We'll move to item 9C, resolution 2025. My computer just went down, 0520-247, a resolution to destroy documents in City Hall storage in accordance with the resolution number 202-10420-16. And that's a resolution that adopted the retention manual for Iowa cities. So is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Sorry, I have one question. I'm trying not to drag us out. Is this something that we do like every time that it's gonna expire, we look to see what we can get rid of? It's normal
Yep,
practice,
and-
right?
Yep, and right now, with us going through the project in the basement to get everything put in order, as we go through those boxes and those items have met their deadline, then we will see that come before you with that adoption of that.
Okay, that's all.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Dominguez,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes,
Shiltz,
Yes,
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Next up is 9D, Resolution 2025-0520-248, a resolution to enter into agreement with ISG for engineering services for the city of West Liberty. Is there a motion to approve?
motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there discussion?
I just wanted to introduce again, Mr. Lenny Larson here, is our number one go-to for ISG.
Yep.
And didn't know if you had any, did you have anything that you wanted to add or?
No, really, that we're just excited. I'm excited. I'm a little less nervous this time around, so a little easier to be in front of you now, but, no, we're really excited to be able to work with the city. If you do have any questions on the contract, feel free to ask. I'm here to answer any questions there may be. And yeah, we're looking forward to being able to hit the ground running with everyone. So I had some good meetings and, kind of have direction of where the city's looking to go. So excited to see them take that and just see where it goes.
Okay.
Off to a good start. I will let you know, I did have our, city attorneys have reviewed. And it was a general contract that keeps it open for us to work through some of, projects as we're going through it, but overall, so we have an idea of what our costs are.
Yeah, I guess the big thing is it's an open contract, so as we're assisting going through city planning, general work, it will work underneath this contract, but when gets to be a specific project, we'll negotiate a contract at that time for that specific project that will be associated with it.
Are there further questions or discussion by the council? Or members of the public? Okay. Hearing none, I believe this is a roll call. It is. The clerk will call the roll.
Shiltz,
yes,
McFerren,
Yes,
Dominguez,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Next up is resolution, 9E, resolution 2025-0520-249, a resolution to approve reimbursement to Ken Morrison, West Liberty, Economic Development Matching Grant. So is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
I provided a memo unless you have any other questions, and if you've had an opportunity, I didn't get an opportunity with the weather to get a picture, but coming by the building, it looked really nice and updated, so.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
Shiltz,
yes,
Dominguez,
Yes.
McFerren,
yes,
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Next up is 9F, resolution 2025-0520-250, resolution authorizing and approving a loan agreement, providing for the placement and issuance of 235,000 general obligation municipal building improvement note series 2025A, and providing the levy of taxes to pay the same. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
yes,
Parizek,
Yes.
Shiltz,
yes,
Dominguez,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Resolution, next up is 9G, Resolution 2025-0520-251, a resolution to approve the extension of the intergovernmental support agreement between the United States National Guard and the City of West Liberty for child care through Upwards. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Dominguez,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next up is a preview of the council meeting. Reminder that, at the last meeting I gave, you all the, forms for, submitting for the, city manager's job evaluation. And that I'd like to have those back by the 31st of this month. And then we'll proceed with, collaborator, going through those and pulling those together for evaluation. Also, the city manager will be completing her training through Drake University, and if I remember correctly, that is February, or is June 4th.
June 4th is
It
graduation.
will be completion of that, which, congratulations on,
Yeah.
getting this close
No more
to
road
the end.
For now, yeah.
That's all I have on,
Good stuff.
preview. City manager, anything else that you think? We're gonna be working on, utilities committee is gonna be working on, the rate
Yep.
study and, so,
We have, we had talked about the Purple Heart City, so I'm continuing trying to
Yes.
work with our local veterans, so, in hopes that we could move that forward in June. I don't know if it'll be a June 2nd, but we'll keep working on that. Looking to finalize a final grant reimbursement, for the flower shop, with Charles Brooks business, wanting to get that wrapped up before end of year. We also, Adam, myself, and our utility team, we met with Mark Yerington through Muscatine Magic Beacon. And so our agreement comes due June, so we'll have the new agreement on the June 2nd meeting. We went over and it's gonna stay the same for right now, but understand as we increase our needs, we may have an amendment to that in the future. Do you have anything?
coming up on the,
The recognition for years of service, will be on the next one because he was unable to be here at this
Yep.
one. So that will be at the next one.
Yeah.
And then based on kind of where I'm at with the reconciliation and working through the stuff, you guys will probably see those more reports coming as well. You'll probably see February and March as well at that next meeting.
okay,
He graduated from Berkeley and, we sent him on a flight out to the West Coast to Seattle for the major Microsoft Office, to give him an opportunity to dive into that field and make some connections through there, so.
Can I make a recommendation, just not for next meeting, but like for the future? If we could get like Jessa or somebody from Upper should just give us a recap. of-
Yep, I'm sorry, we did talk, and so she'll have a report coming up. I just didn't know if it'd be at the second or the second meeting. in June.
Thank you.
And everybody keep June 8th.
yes,
Yeah, there'll be more to come on that.
What day is that?
Sunday,
Sunday, we thought that might be the best for,
just Sunday afternoon.
yeah. So, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Okay.
All, is there discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. It is, we are adjourned.